broke. We ain't got it. Don't spend no money, ain't got no clothes, ain't got no cars, ain't got no hoes. We broke.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're now listening.
1, 2, broke.
Twimbos.
We ain't got it.
Check, 1, 2, 3. Are we good? Yes, it's Two Broke Twimbos. We back again with a fresh new episode outside the studio. But it's fine still because, we're bringing you that authentic feel that we have come to be known for. Because we are from the streets and we keep it in the streets. My name is Denny, that guy, a.k.a. Denias, a.k.a. the only guy, a.k.a. your girlfriend probably pities me, a.k.a. Dan More. When you look inside my wallet, it's more like Dan Less.
That's right. And he's here with one and only irrefutable, the unmistakable, the unquestionable, sexual, perhaps, quasi-intellectual, Phil Chard, a.k.a. Flame Lost the Big Boss, baby, a.k.a.
Pizza P.
a.k.a. Sexington Glover, a.k.a. Shamari Itengero Dringi, and not forgetting the most esteemed name of all, DJ Mkarat. Dan, how you doing, sir?
I'm well. I'm good. It's been 2 weeks. It was good because I think we let that Rubenico episode properly marinate. And I got good feedback for that. I've had a couple of people hit me up and say, man, that was a really good episode, man. It's like, there's 70 plus other episodes just like it. So, hurry up and get to it.
Yes. I always find that so annoying. I was actually discussing it the other day when I was on radio. There are people that follow us. Literally have followed us on Twitter. We've been on Twitter, what, 6 years now, maybe? But more?
Yeah.
It's been a while. And the people that have followed us since inception. And like with the Ruby episode, I didn't even know you guys did this type of stuff with Two Broke Twimbos. That's amazing. And in my mind, I'm like, but fam, you've been following me.
So do you literally ignore my tweets? Is that what's going on? Like literally...
You would have to be going out of your way to not click on a link to not know what Two Broke Twimbos is about. And I remember some of these people actually retweeted some of the tweets. So fam, why are you retweeting it if you don't bother listening to it?
Well, no, please retweet, but also listen. Anyway, so I think because we've got this newfound fame, we should keep this very professional. And sorry, I'm eating some pasta.
Very professional indeed.
Yeah, so I was saying we want to keep it professional and really just show people that
Dignified.
we attack this craft with decorum. Ooh,
Take this serious.
peppercorn. Ooh. Ah, that was good. Anyway, so to quote, someone who mentioned that they enjoyed the episode was Zororo. Quote Zororo, he was like, man, y'all undressed Ruby, bruh, but still like in a friendly way. That was dope. So I just thought I'd share that web picture with y'all.
That's mad creepy. Very disturbing.
No, well, that's I guess that's what he was picturing as he was listening to it.
Yeah.
But no, appreciate the love that has come through for that last episode. But like I was saying, a lot of people only listen to it because they recognized it's a Ruvenico interview. But yeah, I mean, there's loads of other interviews too, and that's cool.
That's right. Actually, now that I've got some semblance of being settled while I'm down here, I'm going to be on the road again, Dan. Rustling up these celebs, getting some quality chats and sit downs with them while I'm here. Just maximizing the time and so forth before Home Affairs finds me and kicks me out. So yes, look out for that in the coming weeks.
Okay. Yeah, cool. That's dope. What have you been up to in the meantime, man?
Just the hustle and bustle, the flow, catching up on work. I was at the Mama's event, the announcement event last week, with the glitz and the glam of the people. I actually saw myself on the TV snippet. If you guys pause at like the 45-second mark for like a tenth of a second, you'll see me. I'm the guy in the black. Yeah.
How convenient. Like a really difficult thing to see you in anyway.
So yes, they announced the nominees for various categories. The most contentious being a best hip hop. No AKA, no Casper, no Sarkodie, no EL.
I mean, neither AKA nor Casper have put out any bodies of work in the past year. A couple of singles.
No, Casper's Refugio album falls within the window.
I feel it though. Anyway, you know what? That's debatable.
But what I will say is Casper's been killing the game with these Family Tree Fridays. And if in that regard, YC's been nominated and YC didn't drop a body of work that period.
But YC was on Ridiculousness Africa with Boiti. So really enjoyed that episode because Boiti was wearing this really short skirt. So I think YC he deserves that nomination, to be honest.
Just based off that.
Pretty much.
If you say so.
I've been busy myself this side. I was at Choco Festival this past weekend.
Oh, yes. How did that go, Dan? Without me, you bastard, Judas.
It was so great. So, you know the standard. All right. If you're unaware, when Phil and I emceed as Two Broke Twimbos last year, we recognized that whenever you MC something like a festival, there's always periods of silence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you contact it this time?
Well, bands are setting up, while new artists are getting their equipment ready, etc., etc. So we realized that that we don't look like idiots. We must get ourselves organized in a DJ format.
No, don't lie, Dan. I had suggested it, and you were vehemently against it up until the Thursday night, and you saw people crashing and burning, and you're like, "Hey, okay, Phil, you're right."
Speaking of crashing and burning, I have to share this with you. So I was emceeing from, I think it was from 8:30 until midnight or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Before 8:30 was the comedy set and like the I think there were a couple of spoken word acts and whatever. I only got there close to the end of it because, as you know, I'm professional and I arrive in good time for my work. Anyway, the guy who was emceeing the comedy set crashed and burned. So wow.
Who was it?
I can't remember. I don't know. I didn't get his name. I arrived in his last three, maybe, because he would like introduce each act. So the last three times he got on stage, he didn't say his name. First time, he goes on stage and he says, "Yo, hey man, give it up for whoever the comedian was. I can't remember. You know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking, man, life is hard in Zimbabwe, man. Life is real hard. If you're trying to commit suicide." Okay, great, absolutely great material to go with. Now, I wanted to kill myself, man. So you know what I did? I decided I'm going to get in the bathtub and I'll just put a toaster in it. But there was no Zinwa. I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll just stick a fork into the plug. But there was no Zesa.
This is very original content, I must say.
I know, right? Then he's like,
incredible.
He's like, I was like, screw it. I'm just going to jump off the top of the building. And halfway down, there was a roadblock. Man, the silence.
The funny thing is, the last part of that joke would have actually been funny if the setup had been so pathetic.
I know.
Like he killed his joke.
Like you could have made it funny.
Like that roadblock shit is hilarious. Like I'm actually imagine like a Looney Tunes, like Wile E. Coyote's jumping off a building, and halfway through he's like, whoa, boss, come nip.
You probably haven't. It was probably a conversation he was having with someone, and and the build-up was perfect, and he said it, and people died laughing. I was like, man, this is really funny. I should include it in my set.
No.
The silence, dude. Anyway, so he calls on some artist, gets off. This is his next. I have to admire his courage and his determination.
What are you gonna do, Dan? Not go on stage and not get paid?
No, because you know what you do if you crash and burn the first time. Go on stage and just announce the next act without saying anything.
No. What I've learned is, especially with comedians, if there's that awkwardness, you cannot ignore it, because the more you ignore it, the more awkward it gets. You've got to address it, and you've got to attack it head on, because then it puts people's guards down.
The good thing is you're not a comedian. Maybe he was. I guess maybe he was a host and he was expected to have an act. So anyway. He comes on, then he says, "Yo, big up to whoever comedian was." I think it was Q the boss, blah, blah, blah. That was real nice. Yo, so I realized the other day, I'm really dark. Okay. I can't date a dark girl. Cool. The thing is, imagine if we date and we get to the stage where we have children. Man, we're not going to give birth to a baby. We're going to give birth to a shadow. It's going to come out a ninja. And he does this whole flipping routine on stage. He's like, I'm here to serve you, master. Deathly silence.
Okay, this guy's a nerd.
It was so bad.
This guy's clearly a nerd.
I got a joke that they will love.
That's not all. He introduces the final act, and you're like, you know what? He's done. He's
Yeah,
all he has
fam,
to do is
just step on
take the
stage
L.
and go. Now, at this point, you cannot.
When
you cannot.
when the final act is done, you just come on, say thank you, and you leave. Nope. Final act is done. He comes on. He's like, you've been an amazing audience. So, you know what? Back in the day, dating was much easier than it is now. And then he says, these days, at this point, I had, we had a little crowd that was just like, he's gonna do another one, he's gonna do another one. Come on. These days, if you log onto your Facebook and make your profile picture some girl, it means you can date her. I tried it the other day, and it worked. That was it. That's it. Then he kept quiet. That was done. We waited. Is there a punchline? Is there a story? I don't know. I don't get it. The whole crowd erupted in howls and cheers. They're very ironic. Yes, but he's my hero. He went head down, straight forward. I don't care what people are saying. This is my moment.
This dude is the damn captain of the Titanic. I'm going down with the ship. I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. I'm going down. And I feel bad because, in retrospect, just thinking about it, like he could have been, his material could possibly have been funny, but I don't know whether it was the execution. It was just so bad.
It's a major key, man. It's a major.
I'd had a couple of jokes planned. I was like, nope. I got on stage. I was like, welcome. Our first act is the monkey nuts. Monkey nuts.
You know what I've learned when you're emceeing, especially like these big events, it's just about energy. Don't try and be funny.
Yeah.
Like when you try and be funny after you've got the attention and the energy of the crowd. But when you first get on there, just hit them over the head with energy, and they don't know how to react. Yo, what's up? You guys having a good time tonight? Let me say some news. Make some noise in the back. Yeah! Ladies having a good time. Make some noise. Yeah! The moment you get that, party in your hands. But you try this joke nonsense. Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
Shit. Anyway, it was cool. What else can I remember from Shoko Festival? There were some dope performances. The Monkey Nuts, as usual, they were amazing on stage. Man, do you know what? What's his name? Impy. Impy is the one who's like on the mix, and he's got the beats going down, and then Josh starts rapping. It's so sick. It's like, it looks like you're watching what hip hop was like back in the 90s. You know what I mean? Just a simplistic beat and someone just riding the atom. It was so dope. And I was a bit worried that, because I mean, everyone's just come from comedy, so they're sitting down. So my instructions was like, listen, hype the crowd out, just get them excited, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to get everyone off their seats, off their chairs, blah, blah, blah. Some people are responding. Some people are beginning to feel the energy, but it's still kind of low. And I was a bit worried that, hey, the Monkey Nuts might come in with a bit of a low energy. Nope, killed it. They collaborated with a group called African Sons from Norway. Well, they're based in Norway, but they're from like Rwanda and Congo or something. They're the ones who allegedly fought with AKA. But I'll get to that. What else? After them was 10 and Tags.
As a duo? They still been booked together?
As a duo.
Dude, wasn't Love is Evil like 5 years ago?
No, but they're doing an album together. Oh, not an album, but like I don't know if they're doing an album, but they've released several songs together. Remember they did Botsano and what's the album that came after it? Whatever it's called. Their set was pretty dope, but the same complaint I've always had with those guys. Backtracks, man. Come on, let's graduate from that, bruh. Backtracks when you're up and coming, man. Even if you're not gonna do a band, do an instrumental at least, man.
Yeah. Hey, okay. Speaking of, there's a rapper Solo. I went to his album launch.
Yeah.
Dude, he's got a four-piece band, but it's all digital. So he's got the DJ, DJ will be scratching, playing the backtrack, adding effects to the song, which is also, I feel, very like, if you're gonna do backtracks, at least give the audience something, you know what I mean, different than what they used to. Don't just hit play and stand back.
Yeah.
Add some scratches, add some effects.
To be fair, they did do a lot of different, because Take Fizzer was on the decks as per usual, and Reverb, and they had like little effects and different instrumentals and whatever. But for the most part, it was still the song that you know, except they're rapping over it. So literally, if you turn off the mic, it's pretty much the same. It's just a little quieter. You know what I mean?
So yeah, with Solo, he's got the DJ, and then he's got 3 other guys, and they all got MPCs, and they're adding like the bass line, and they're literally playing the song live. So the dude is playing the bass live, and it sounds so dope. Because one thing I hate, especially with hip hop, is if you got 808s on the track, and then you bring a guy who's doing live drums, you lose so much of that bass because it's artificial. But fam, it was dope. I was blown away. But anyway, back to Tin and Tex.
Yeah, but it was a pretty dope set. People enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the songs that they were doing or whatever. And then who else came on? Oh, and then I think there was AKA.
The Super Mega.
Super Mega.
Super Slipper Mega.
I had interviewed him early on radio. It was a bit messed up because the first instruction we got was, listen, don't be too shy and don't feel like you got to be politically correct. Ask him anything. I was like,
who said this?
Ruveniko.
I know. You know what Ruby is smart. What Ruby is just basically saying is this guy's got nowhere else to go. He is contractually mandated to sit in this room. So we are going to do whatever it takes to boost our ratings.
But as he got there, communication from the manager, aka his manager, listen, we're contractually obligated to do this, but only in regards to his performance today. We're not going to respond to any personal questions. We will walk out of the interview if there's any questions about his love life. But it's like, oh man, what the hell, bro? So I sort of spoke to him off air, and I was like, listen, I don't want to lie to you. I had prepared a whole bunch of questions that I've now been told I cannot use. And he's like, all right, you can ask me whatever you want. Just don't talk about Cairo. Don't talk about Zinhle. And don't talk about Casper. Everything else is open season. And I was like, what else is there? Cool. Let's talk about this Snapchat incident that happened and phones flying from balconies. Anyway, so when he came through to Shoko Festival, it was
what did he say?
The interview was standard. It never got to be that interesting because we had these restrictions. So it was really just about what he's going to perform, the music, and he was quite excited about the GQ cover, and that's about it. Anyway, so, okay, part of his tech rider was he didn't want anyone else backstage immediately before and during his performance. So all the other artists were kicked out. Now, you know how AKA feels about artists being kicked out for a
international act.
Exactly.
Oh, irony, you hilarious.
The irony. So it was a little bit of a kerfuffle backstage, but our friend from Twitter, Mr. HBT, he was there when all this happened, by the way, and he says, hi, Phil, and thank you for calling him out. And he's not happy with that, but anyway.
Oh, wait, but I don't, why are we outing his name? People didn't know who we were talking about. Now they know who we were talking about. You asshole.
What? But I mean, we didn't really say anything bad.
We didn't say anything bad. We just said, no, you're all shut your mouth.
and even right now, not saying anything bad. I always appreciate the support and whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate the support, but yeah, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, but he was saying, yo, Dan, can you do something about this? I'm like, fam, I'm not about
something about what?
I'm not about to walk up to AKA security and say...
Wait, do something about what? People getting kicked out?
Yeah, about the local artists. Local artists, our big local artists being kicked out of the artist tent.
Why was he backstage?
He was just about to go on.
Who?
Who are you asking?
The guy
About?
that we called
I
out
don't
on the
know.
podcast
I
was
don't
about to
know.
go on stage doing what? What does he do in the creative sphere?
I don't know, dog. I didn't ask.
Okay, interesting.
But he was worried about the artists.
No, but once again, like, okay, I don't know. Did we discuss that the rant on the last episode? We didn't, huh?
Which rant?
That rant.
Oh yes, we did.
we?
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. Did we?
Okay, which rant are you talking about?
The rant by a certain rapper about Shoko Festival.
Oh no, we didn't. Yes,
so
no,
we'll get to that later.
we
But
have to
okay.
get to that. Yeah.
Finish the story. Then we'll get to that and we'll get to this because that's not your issue. If they have any complaints, that they have a legitimate complaint to say, yo, Shoko Festival, you guys are supposed to be for the Zimbabwean artists. Why are you letting this guy come in and dictate these terms? Because you can, while you're booking an artist, you can go through his tech writer and be like, yo, okay, you want 15 bottles of Moe? We can do that. You want to get picked up by 17 limos? We can do that. You want to disrespect local artists? No, we got an issue here, fam. Let's work around this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they should go to Shoko and say,
Look,
Shoko, why are you doing this?
I don't know the details behind it and everything, so I can't comment. But I have to say, it does look bad. It looks bad when someone who's supposed to be at the same level in our country as this artist is told like, yo, you got to get out of the tent now because AKA is coming through. At the same time, I also understand that an artist is going to send a tech writer that, listen, I will come if you pay me this much if I have A, B, and C. And if maybe you're really nitpicking at the payment amount, it's going to be real difficult to be like, oh yeah, and by the way, this other stuff on your tech writer. I can understand how difficult it is to try and like negotiate that kind of thing and whatever.
Nope.
But to a certain extent, you got to call out Shoko for it. But
it's not difficult at all because, like, dude, I've been to events. Like, I've got people that I work with that I know that do this type of shit, this type of stuff for a living, like booking artists and dealing with tech writers. An artist's main concern, one, is payment. If you pay them, they will be very, very considerate and lenient with regards to other stuff. You know, like what a tech writer is. A tech writer, for the most part, it's kind of like, how can I put this? It's like pushing your luck. It really is. A tech writer is literally like, how much can I make this person bend over backwards for me? Because a lot of that stuff in the tech writer, you can live without. Like a lot of artists, like for example, they'll have backstage needs to have 5 bottles of Moe.
Yeah,
You don't really need Moe. It's nice to have Moe. I know, for example, AKA has a bottle of champagne on his tech writer because during the performance, he likes to sip on the champagne during his set. Once again, at most he needs 1 or 2, but they'll put 6, for example, just to push the boundaries.
His road manager was, it was like, because I went up to him and I was like, listen, how do you want me to announce AKA and whatever? I've never seen such diplomacy in my life. He's like, hey man, how do you want to announce him? I'm like, hey dog, I'm just gonna go say his name, bro.
Wait, was his road manager, was it Chamo or was it Rich?
I think it was Chamo, but I can't be sure. I couldn't tell from the only picture I have is of him facing to the side with a cap flying off his head.
was it the same guy? Was it the same guy who did it when we interviewed him last time he was in Zim?
I can't remember, Phil. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway,
carry on.
So I'm like, yo, do you what do you want me to do? And then he's basically, they was like, no, how do you want to introduce him? I'm like, I don't know, man. He's like, you know what? It's fine. If you are unsure, then what we can do is we'll get our DJ to introduce him because that's normally part of his set. Is that all right? I'm like, dog, that's cool because I've already said up next is AKA and now it's your band setting up. So if you want to do the whole hype intro, that's totally cool with me. Like, yeah, yo, come through, come get a sip of Moet, come get some. I was like, damn, I feel like I've been wined and dined here. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, well, you don't need anything from me. I feel like I've been butted up, and I don't know.
No, but it's also being smart because what he's doing is this. He recognizes that, wait, if he saw you earlier, he's like, wait, this dude's on radio. This dude's now hosting the show. So in his mind, and to his detriment, he's probably thinking Dan is a big deal in Zimbabwe. The fool. So it's just you're playing the politics game, because now if you like AKA and you've had a good interaction with AKA and his team, you're more receptive to playing AKA songs. If an AKA story drops, you are more naturally inclined to present it in a positive light because you've had a positive experience with AKA. You know what I mean? It's just the preemptive. It's a smart tactic that a lot of people use, and a lot of people don't realize that a lot of artists do that. Like, they'll always be on their best behavior for that very specific reason. So you're like, wait, AKA, no, man. When I met with him, he gave me a bottle of Moet. He's a nice chap, he is. I like him.
I didn't, and I mean, I would have liked some, but I didn't, because like he kind of was just like, yeah, come through. And then I sort of looked and I was like, I don't know, it felt weird. Like, here's people being kicked out, and then I don't even know if I'm going to get in, and even if I do, it just looks bad for me. I was like, no, you know what, I'm all good, thanks, man. I'm just going to go, get my Nkomboti a day or something.
Yeah, but as I said, it's just a bad look for Shoko. Because
Yeah.
if you are booking artists and you are trying to elevate local acts, your clear mandate should be, fam, we are paying you. So
Yeah.
we are paying you. Therefore, you are our employee. Therefore, you come on our terms. If we cannot agree on those terms, fine. It's not like AK is the only act within that price range that could pull numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like you said, I don't think they could reasonably disagree that, listen, our local artists, like literally the artists that perform before you are the ones who are going to be in the artist tent, perform before you, perform after you. So we're not going to bar them. I find it very difficult to believe that they would, disagree with that. But anyway, so yeah, calling out Shoko Festival for that. You gotta respect our local artists as well. But that's cool. What I did like is, overall, there wasn't really a feeling of the main act, AKA, and supporting acts, Ningi and Ningi. It really did feel like, we've got this act, next we got this act, next we got this, so it really felt like they could even have been on even terms. In fact, the way we sold Winky D was probably higher than selling AKA.
Well, with good reason, because
Yeah.
Winky D will pull bigger numbers.
But fam, AKA killed it.
I know he's a dope performer, man.
He is a consummate. Yo. Ah, man. The only thing I didn't like was I felt like he over auto-tuned. But I mean, whatever. Man, AKA wants to be Donald so bad.
You're so shady.
No, but it was such a dope performance. Ah, man, how I enjoyed it.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So yes, let's move on to the drama of the weekend. AKA had a busy weekend. A busy weekend. So even me over here in Joburg, I was hearing mumblings of what happened in Harare. But the first few waves of that were just rumor mongering. People love to spread nonsense. People love to spread lies. But from what I understand is, while artists were getting booted out of the tent, African Sons, if I'm not mistaken, did not take too kindly to this treatment as second-class citizens, and they got into a little fracas with security, and then words were exchanged. They were still hot and bothered about this incident. What I do understand is, as AK was leaving the venue, someone, possibly African Sons, do not quote me on this, I'm speculating because details are sketchy, got into a scuffle.
Like Bongo.
Yes. So yeah, someone got into a scuffle with AKA. Punches were flown. Some individuals got caught in the crossfire. And I've heard this from two sources, so I understand that to be correct. But what I do know is that rumors of AKA himself, how can I put it? it seems that in this incident, he was attacked and he was defending himself. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say he went out looking for trouble. Trouble found him. To an extent, which seemed to be a recurring theme because the following day, AK was back in South Africa. He was performing at the Mac Festival. Mac had a festival in the middle of Joburg. And then he had to go to IROC Polokwane. Polokwane is about 4 hours out of Joburg, a bit more. So they chartered a private jet to make sure that they got there on time. AKA's story goes like this. AKA was tabled to perform at 10 p.m. AKA told the organizers, guys, I've got a performance before that. I cannot make 10 p.m. Can you please push my performance time back to around midnight?
Yeah.
The organizers were like, yep, okay, fine. It's cool. Makes sense. We can work around that. Because the organizers were the ones charting the flight, it seems that they would know. At the very least, the stage manager would know that the plane has taken off, the plane has landed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, AKA then says they arrived at the venue. They spoke to the stage manager. The stage manager then said, okay, this is your time. You can now go on stage. Sadly for them, as they're setting up, I forget who was on stage at the time, but DJ Black Coffee was scheduled to go on at 10 past midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, wait, you guys are setting up? Fam, I'm supposed to have a set. And DJ Black Coffee, also being a busy man, is like, yo, I've got to catch a private flight back to Joburg because I've got another set to perform before the end of the night. So he cannot afford to have his set pushed back because then was a chain reaction. At this point, AKA's road manager and DJ Black Coffee get into it. I'm sure if you haven't, you've seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, you've been under a rock. But a slap is exchanged, a cap goes flying. To his credit, Chiamo just takes the slap like a man from a one-handed DJ.
Wow, the shade.
Hey,
The shade.
it's not shade. It's just like, hey, but guy, like, you know which hand is gonna throw. You know where it's coming from. Like at least prepare.
Oh,
man.
you're a bad person.
At least put your arm up. You know.
Wow.
So yes.
Wow.
The running joke with that whole situation was Black Coffee had released a song on Friday, so he basically dropped 2 massive hits in one weekend.
I see.
Dum,
Well done.
So yes, this became a big issue because AK was like, no one slaps one of my team members. I'm not going on stage. And you know what? I can understand AK's reasoning. What I don't understand is the way he painted himself as the victim.
Like, no, this isn't fair. This isn't right. Yes, TC, look what you guys did. This is not. Look at this man. He's violent.
And we're like, yo, but AK, like just a few days ago, you were celebrating throwing a fan's phone off a balcony, fam. Like, we've seen video of you slapping Casper. Like, you posted that video of you slapping Casper. There's another story of you slapping Casper at Kantari. We've got stories of you getting into fights and pushing fans off stage. Like, come on, fam. Like, you're not the poster child for non-violent actions here.
Yeah, but I mean, you would expect him to.
But that's you know what AK could have just said was this: had he not performed, he is well within. I feel in that instance he's well within his right, because if what he's saying is true and they had communicated with the organizers, then the person who's at fault is the stage manager, because the stage manager should have realized. Wait, AKA says he can only perform at midnight. Black Coffee says he can only perform at midnight. Something's got to give. So you got to go to one of the artists and be like, yo, AKA, either I push you later or Black Coffee, I push you up.
And of all the 2 artists that you got to clash,
yeah, you got
AKA
and Black, who have a history, like a long-standing history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, right, your dude gets slapped. You're like, you know what? Sorry, guys. Violence, or one of my members was attacked because of one of your other employees. We are no longer performing. You just announce to your fans, guys, there was a fight backstage. Black Coffee slapped my guy. I will not accept one of my guys being beaten, and that's why we didn't perform. And you end it there. You leave it there. You then let your management and your PR team draft the release, which I shared on Twitter yesterday, and then let that do it. He went over and beyond now. You know, I chose not to react. I chose to be non-violent because had I reacted, it would have been a story. I stepped away from the situation. I was the bigger man. He says all this, and then an hour later, someone sends me video of him fighting backstage. And we're like, come on, kid, man. Why? You know, and once again, it's understandable. I don't condone it, but I can understand. And I actually, to a certain degree, I respect AKA in that regard. Because in AKA's mind, he's like, these guys are my team.
Yep.
I am the captain. So if you attack them, you attack me, and I will step out in front and defend my guys. I can understand you not performing. I can even understand you swinging backstage on people because you felt your team was disrespected. I get that. That makes sense. You know what I mean? And I have no problem with that, really, though I'm not condoning violence. What I don't understand is why are you playing victim? Why are you adding all this extra sauce to the story? Why are you trying to make it seem like you're some innocent dude who's always under attack? Like when you bring all this negative publicity your way. And that was the whole sentiment on Twitter, like when the story broke out. Because AK has so little cachet with the public these days because of his constant incidences and activities and tweet rants and this, that, and the fourth. He already lost the battle. Like people like, there were people that were tweeting like, I don't even know what the story is, but I'm already on Black Coffee's side, no matter what happened.
Yep.
And that's the thing. And he just keeps digging himself deeper and deeper into the hole.
I sympathize with him, man.
What?
Not because his manager offered me some moet. Mostly because I feel like, okay, every interaction we've had with him, like you said, we've never had I don't know about you, but like even when we had him on Two Broke Twimbos, listen to the AKA Two Broke Twimbos episode, scroll up. Do you know what I mean? Like I was totally expecting someone's going to be difficult to deal with. It wasn't. And yeah, I do understand that he's doing it for the media, the cameras, or whatever, perhaps. But I also feel like when the public has a particular perception about you that can come up from any reasons. Man, Black Coffee is the champion of the people, bruh. Black Coffee, he says nothing on his tracks. So, you know what I mean? You don't have to really, you don't relate to him that way. All you relate to Black Coffee is the fact that his songs make you feel good. AKA laces his music with braggadocio. And if that rubs you up the wrong way, you're already going to associate him with that. So if now here comes an altercation between AKA and Black Coffee, naturally, just by natural progression of how we think, you're going to side with Black Coffee if you are a neutral and don't know the full details, because Black Coffee makes you feel good, AKA rubs you up the wrong way a little bit because of his braggadocio and his whole cocky attitude and whatever.
Not even the cocky attitude, fam. It's just time and time again.
Yes, repeated, those kind of repeated things.
Like I said, and the weird thing is like people that I'm not even trying to assassinate Black Coffee's character, but if you do the research, Black Coffee has done some pretty shitty things too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not perfect. But because Black Coffee is smart enough to realize, yo, let me present a certain image online. Let me monitor my tweets carefully. And that's another thing, like, AKA, like, those tweet rants of his, the constant, it's just been a nightmare. And
speaking of rants.
Oh, yes. So let's get into this issue. So for those that use the underwear,
I feel like since you're part of the story, you're gonna tell it from okay. What happened?
Okay, well, I was having a conversation, with someone, and they were like, "Yo, did you see him just rant?" I'm like, "Nah, what? You had a rant?" I was like, "Yeah, go check his IG page." So I go to his Instagram page, and I see this rant, and I'm overcome with fury. Like, I don't know, like that day I was dealing with so many emotions because of that. I'm overcome with fury. Basically, MC Cheetah is drunk and high out of his mind. It's evident to see. And he goes on a rant like, yo, F Choco Festival. Choco Festival is not for the people. How can you say you're supporting Zim Hip Hop when you're bringing in AKA, when you're bringing in Amara Brown, when you bring in Ja Praiser, and you guys aren't even booking us? We are like Zim hip hop. How is hip hop supposed to thrive in this country if you guys aren't respecting us? And then he goes on a tangent speaking about promoters, and promoters are only giving him $50 gigs, and it's basically a rant dripping in, what's the word, where he feels that people owe him something. People
Entitlement.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the word I was looking for. And it's a very entitled and ill-informed rant, you know. So that alone is already making me angry. And I've spoken about this a couple of times on my hip hop blog about how Zim artists, especially, have this terrible attitude of entitlement, and that's one issue. The other issue being is, for those of you that don't know, it was a very once I realized it was a very traumatic incident, and I never really dealt with it. You know what I mean? And sadly, a lot of those emotions came out on that day.
All right. Basically, if you don't know, Cheetah went on this rant, speaking from his mind, I guess, on behalf of Zim Hip Hop, that all these promoters are not supporting Zim Hip Hop. Why are you guys not supporting us? Why? Because you all think you're better than, or whatever it was. You know, it was very entitled, like Phil said. And the incident Phil is referring to is, you would expect MC Cheetah to keep a low profile for a while, because not even that long ago, 2 years ago,
Yeah, around that time.
2 years ago, MC Cheetah was involved in a drunk driving incident in which people lost their lives. I don't want to get into details because apparently it was a court incident and whatever. But a lot of people feel that MC Cheetah did not
take responsibility or apologize.
Exactly.
And my issue with him was like, I was directly involved in that incident. He was coming from my party. He was with me, and I had fought with him not to drive home. That night, Rhymes and I literally fought with him, do not drive home, and we gave the keys to take 5. So I felt personally responsible for that because he was coming from my event. And the project we were promoting, we ended up shelving it because we're like, there's so much bad publicity around this. You know what I mean? We can't continue. Coupled with that is, for those of you that know the history, there's a personal connection there that really messed me up because it was messed up on a lot of levels. You know what I mean?
The people who died were, let's say they were somehow connected to us.
Yes, and it's still a painful point of contention in our family because of that. Because people didn't know up until I confessed, and when I did, it was like, wow, you know what I mean? It was, and what my thing is, I was one of the first people on the scene. I had to call Cheetah's mom. I had to get Cheetah's car towed. I had to call all these people to try and help this individual, because at the time I'm thinking, this is my friend. At the very least, let's make sure that he's okay. You know what I mean? And then once that's done, let's deal with the repercussions. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it felt that he never took responsibility for his actions. And he never even came to me and was like, yo, I'm sorry for putting you in the situation I put you in. Instead, he's still behaving the same way. Instead, he's still drinking. And I'm not going to say or judge someone. I don't know what he's dealing with personally. But from the outside looking in, it looks very bad. It looks like someone who is refusing to take responsibility for a very, very serious issue. And even in his music, he only addressed it in a song, in a very short song, where he's basically talking about haters and negativity. And he never apologizes or says I did anything wrong. He's just saying the haters are trying to bring me down.
Not to say that he is obligated to address it in a song, but the point is that the only way he addressed it was very briefly, almost in an offhand manner. Now, look.
Yeah. So
you know what?
Based off that, okay, let me just finish so we can, and then you can give your points. But yeah, based off that, so for 2 years this stuff has been festering within me, and I've never really addressed it. Like, and to my by my own admission, the mistake I made is when I realized this, I should have at least gone to him and said, you know what, dude, I feel you messed up here, and I feel you did, and this is why you and I are no longer friends anymore, and this is why I can't mess with you. You know what I mean? I should have done that. Instead, I just kind of stepped back and let it slide. And the and let that wound fester, basically. So I start off and I'm like, okay, this is what this dude is saying. And I'm like, first things first. Shoko Festival owes you absolutely nothing. Shoko Festival is not a government mandated program. Shoko Festival is a private festival run by Magamba Network. And Magamba Network has backers and sponsors. Those backers and sponsors are mainly NGOs. So those NGOs will give you money on the basis that they're going to get a return for whatever they're paying you for. So it all depends on what they want. So an NGO might give you money for a festival with the hope that you are promoting culture, or with the hope that you will educate youngsters via workshops and whatnot. You know what I mean? So they have various ways. So my point is, Shoko Festival owes them something because they're giving them money. They owe you nothing. If you happen to benefit from that, good for you, because that's a positive. But if you do not fit the criteria for them in terms of bookings, that's your issue, not their issue. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I lost you there for a
Listen.
second. So there was that, and then I was also saying, the reason that Shoko Festival, if you've paid attention, in the last 3 years, they've shifted from being a hip hop only festival to being a quote unquote urban festival, for the specific reason that the festival is growing faster than hip hop in Zim is growing. So once again, that's not Shoko's first problem. That's hip hop's problem. That's the rappers' problem. And once again, there are rappers who are making it in Zimbabwe. Why are they making it and you aren't? There are artists in general who are making it. Zim Dancehall, Ja Praiser, Amara Brown. They are making it. Why aren't you making it? Why is Titan getting bookings internationally? Why is Takura getting international bookings and you aren't? That's your issue, not Shoko's issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they owe you absolutely nothing.
Neither is it a promoter's issue as well.
And then I was like, yes, if a promoter, and he was actually shouting out several promoters. So I'm like, if promoters, plural, are constantly paying you $50 for a gig, then that means that you, as an artist, are only worth $50. So you should raise your value. They shouldn't raise what they're willing to pay you, because it's a buyer's market. It's a seller's market. If you demand or command a crowd and a following and an audience, you can dictate to the promoter. You'll be like, yo, I really need to have MC such and such perform here. What's your booking fee? 10,000. Dude, I'm sorry, I can only afford 2. Well, you're lost, fam. I'm off. You know what I mean? Eventually, you'll find a promoter who's gonna pay that because the numbers will dictate the price. And that was my major case. The problem is Zimbabwean artists would rather sit around complaining instead of looking at where they're going wrong and addressing the issues. The funny thing is, just the other day, a few days after this, Mike Pimp went at. No, in fact, a few days after this, I was at Major League Gardens.
Oh.
And Major League Gardens had 30,000 kids in attendance. And this is mainly a hip hop festival in South Africa.
30,000, damn.
Dude, it was packed. If you saw my videos, you'll see it was lit. So MT's on stage and MT is performing and these kids are going crazy. So, and I'm on stage. You can imagine the atmosphere and the noise with 30,000 kids screaming lyric for lyric. And I posted a video. I'm like, yo, while Zim rappers complain about bookings, these kids are making music that commands a 30,000 attendance crowd.
Yeah.
So Zim rappers saw that video and got up all in their feet. So Mike Pimp tweets me and he's like, yo, Phil, why are you always throwing shade at Zim rappers? I'm like, fam, I never throw shade at Zim rappers. I just drop facts. If those facts happen to offend you, then that's not my issue, because I'm not here to protect your sensitive egos. You guys need to look at yourselves and ask yourselves, why is it that these guys are doing these numbers and you aren't? And stop blaming everyone else but yourselves. And then he's like, okay, but I feel that you're throwing shade instead of helping us. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, have you read my blog? Because there's a lot of content on my blog that is directly marketed and angled at promoting artists and teaching artists how to build their brands. And he's like, yes, I have. So I'm like, why would you then ask me the question if I've what I'm doing to help the culture if you've read the post. You know what I mean? It made no sense. But that's the attitude of a lot of these artists is they either don't look for the information, they don't take the information to hand, and they'll then blame everyone else for not helping them when they themselves are not actively consuming this information and internalizing it when it is free of charge, which is one reason why I'll always respect 10 Diamond. 10 has educated himself to understand the music business and the music industry. And that is one of the reasons why he's able to monetize. We might have an argument about his popularity and so forth, but that's another issue. But in terms of understanding how to monetize a brand and build a brand, he's done a very good job at that. You know what I mean?
To be fair, there are some Zim rappers who seem to have it figured out. You mentioned Takura earlier. Man, Takura, I swear it's like he did it by the book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's not even a pure rapper. He's coming from a pop group. Yet he put out a hot song, from the hot song straight into a hot video, put out a 5-track EP, started doing performances, organized the tour. Dude, it was like boom, 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 boom. Started doing press runs, press tours, and I was just watching like, damn, this is how it should be done.
Exactly. And that's my other issue is with Zim rappers, they only seem interested in making music that impresses their immediate click. Instead of if you want to be the type of rapper that makes music that only you and your friends listen to, go ahead. But don't complain when people who aren't your friends don't buy your music. If you want to be a commercially viable entity, that means you have to appeal to your audience. If your audience does not give a damn about spinning rims and popping bottles and trap beats, then why the hell would you continuously rap about spinning rims, popping bottles over trap beats? Come on. Look at Sakura. Look at Titan. These guys know their market and they are milking it.
Another example is Calvin. Another dude who I feel like he learned the hard way because dude has been putting out music.
And right now, Calvin is in Germany having dinner with Casper in your vest because Calvin puts his damn elbow to the grindstone. What are you guys doing? When Calvin, and that's another thing, when Calvin saw that he wasn't getting bookings around the country, he started doing his own shows. Granted, he might be going to a venue and performing in front of 20 people, but that's how you build a brand. You've got, in America, they call it the Chitlin circuit. You've got to start at the bottom and work your way up. Same way with Casper. Casper used to go around and perform for free in shabines and bars for 20, 30 people. How many of these rappers are willing to do that? They all expect a big payout. They all expect a massive reward without putting in the work.
Yep.
And it's damn frustrating. And it's not this rant is not unique to just him. There are several and
dude,
that attitude is killing the industry.
Let me share my thought. I feel like we spoke about it, I think, in one of our previous episodes. Did I mention to you about two rappers, T-Gons and Shingy? Did I tell you about them?
No.
T-Gons and Shingy put out similar written rants. Theirs were a bit more thought out, but they were basically calling out ZFM and a couple of promoters for saying that they didn't get to perform at certain gigs. And they were busy calling, hey, people disrespect us. People don't realize how big hip hop is. And y'all are prioritizing dancehall or Afro beats artists over hip hop artists. And I remember reading that. And I was thinking, T-Gons, first of all, my man's T-Gons put out one hit track. One. That was a hit. If it's the same thing Takura did, but you failed to follow the simple. He put out the song Zenu.
Oh, that video was garbage. Jeez Louise.
He put out a video almost a year later. Dude, everyone was done with the song. The video was terrible. Do you know what I mean? People were excited about, oh snap, who's this new hip hop artist? I'll tell you the honest truth. I didn't particularly like the song, but it grew on me, and it was very catchy to just hear that old Genu. It grew on a lot of people, but nothing came out of it. After that, he put out several follow-up singles, and because his name had grown on that first single, radio played his songs. But in all honesty, none of the songs he put out afterwards were really any good. And now he's in this place where he's beginning to not be as relevant and beginning to. I feel like no one's paying attention to him anymore. I mean, you still get, oh, this is the guy that did Genu. Oh, snap, this is the guy that did Genu. You know what I mean? You'll still get that. But why are people not talking about the song that you did this year? Because no one knows it, and no one's gonna know it. He now feels so frustrated. He's attacking ZFM doesn't play my music. These radio stations don't play my music. Promoters are not booking us. And when they book us, they don't want us, they pay us very little money. Dude, you can't blame the promoter. You can't blame the radio station. The moment you take responsibility that, okay, I figured out how to make a hit track because I've done one. Same with Shingi. Shingi, my gosh. Shingi was like, people only paid attention to me because I worked with Simba Tags on my first record.
Well, damn, son. So it looks like you cracked the code already. So if you
there you go. So what? So he's like, oh, so clearly you guys like Tags. I'm like, well, no.
Well, duh.
It's not about that. Tags. It's like, fam, if you go do a song with Dr. Dre, chances are it's going to be a hit because he's got proven hit material. So I don't understand how that's so difficult to understand. Anyway, he had a very similar, it's almost like they sat down and wrote these press releases together and put them out.
They're on Google Docs collaborating.
And it's the exact same thing. And they were both calling for, it was quite hilarious. They were calling for people to boycott ZFM. They were calling for people to boycott the promotions.
That's smart.
The promoters.
That's very smart.
And it's so funny because we were, as a music committee at ZFM, we're like, these guys, don't they know we'll stop playing their music? Oh, you don't have any of their songs in rotation? Is there at least one song of theirs in rotation that we? Oh, so we can't.
Business as usual, I guess.
Oh well.
All right.
No, because someone was like, no, we shouldn't be petty. You know what? We're not going to respond to this. We'll continue playing their music. Is there any of their songs that we're playing? No? Oh. Well, that's awkward. I think T Gonz has a couple of songs that play occasionally. But come on, man. You know how to make a hit. You've got the ability to make a hit. We're not saying you are whack. But it's just you're not putting the work in, man. I don't know how else to put it across to you. And then I'm going to sound like a hater when I say the song is whack. It's whack, bruh. Stop it. And then now y'all are feeling all caught up in your feelings and ranting and blah, blah. People don't respect you because you have to earn respect. You don't demand it.
You gotta respect yourself. Do you respect yourself, son? I don't think you respect yourself. You know what I mean? Word is bone.
Word is bone.
But
anyway, yeah, so
Zim rappers. This is why Zim hip hop is the way it is. It's so sad.
So yeah, as you said, MC Cheetah is by no means the only person who has those feelings. Other people have said similar things. Here's my issue with MC Cheetah. Aside from everything you said and that you described the whole situation, that also because I remember afterwards, people were like, "Yo, Dan, we got to go see MC Cheetah in hospital," and I wanted to, but I couldn't because I didn't know how I was going to react or how I was going to respond. Like, dude, you killed people, you drunk drove, and I don't know. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I saw him afterwards, and we had a very brief conversation about it, and I sort of let it go. Very brief conversation. He explained like, "Yo, man, I feel really bad about what happened," and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. You know, it's not my place to judge. I don't know your situation. I don't know what pan. We're good. We're fine. We're cool." But I guess it's also sort of always just been in the back of my mind in dealings with Cheetah. But aside from that, his rant, even if we take away what happened before, just in itself, that rant was so dumb. It's like,
oh, by the way, I totally forgot on one other major point. MC Cheetah, who is a rapper, he's over a decade in Zim hip hop. He has had success before. MC Cheetah then decided to pivot his career and go into radio. MC Cheetah was given the privilege of taking over what some might say was the biggest hip hop radio show in Zimbabwe. I don't know.
At the time, it was the only one. There was no pure hip. There were other shows that had hip hop segments, but that was a pure, literally a full show that was Zim hip hop.
So by default, the biggest hip hop show on Zimbabwean radio. So Cheetah had a very real opportunity here to not only boost his brand, but boost Zim hip hop. He literally was given the keys to the kingdom, and here drive Zim hip hop to the promised land. And what did he do? Dan, do you want to provide input here, or should we just assume? I don't know.
Okay, look, Cheetah, I think it's very difficult for someone who is a rapper himself and has not yet achieved mainstream success to be able to push an industry in that way. Because looking from the outside, it looked very much to me that Cheetah was playing a radio show for rappers, for him and his homies. I have no doubt that it had its fans, and I have no doubt that it had its regular listeners. But what I can guarantee is that it wasn't the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, long story short, messed up that opportunity, didn't continue for whatever reasons.
So
again,
at any point during his rant, did Cheetah say, "You know what, guys? I'm kind of responsible for my own plight here because I dropped the ball. Do you know how many people are trying to get on radio?"
Okay. Over and above that, I also wanted to mention MC Cheetah. What I feel is he's got an ability. I feel like he's got ability to. I think he's just pure pound for pound rapping ability. He's one of the best in Zim. Just based of what I've heard. I don't know about live performances. I would imagine he does well because he's an MC. I don't know about lyricism, or I just like writing a beat and rapping. I feel like he's really good. I brought that point up when I was having a discussion with a bunch of other rappers that included Begotten Son. And you know what he said to me? He was like, "That's all well and good, Dan. Have you ever in all your life as an entertainer and in the industry, have you ever met someone who's an MC Cheetah fan?" I was like, "I'm sure." Well, I mean, have you ever met someone who says, "I like MC Cheetah," outside the industry? And even if you can find someone or a few people, that's a very poignant point because it shows that MC Cheetah is a rapper's rapper. And like you said earlier, that's what a lot of these guys are. They rap for their homies, for their other people in the industry. For the producer, I was like, "Damn, those are some sick bars, man. The way you rhymed cognac and Pontiac was just amazing." But I mean, who in Zimbabwe is listening to that, man? I mean, come on. And that's what I feel with him. I feel like MC Cheetah, when he had success, was when he worked with Junior Brown. And by the way, we're using success very loosely here.
No, but at the time, once again, the industry was very young.
Yes.
But especially when they did what is the name of that album?
The one he did with Junior Brown, right?
Yeah. But yes, when they did that album, and then they had those singles like "We Are to Bayane, We Are to Bayane," the industry was so like even with that interview we did with Begotten Son, like the industry had literally contracted and almost died. So those were like the first few embers as it was rebuilding. So there was still a lot of appeal, like especially with Zim hip hop fans and people that wanted Zim hip hop. There was appeal there. People were like, "Yo,
King's Rendezvous."
There we go. King's Rendezvous with a Z. Yes. and then so Cheetah was able to tour off that. I remember Cheetah touring off that.
Yeah.
I remember Cheetah having international shows of that. But they don't build off of it. Like, where's the momentum?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. And okay. So here he is. He hasn't been able to build a fan base. And that's not, again, when I say this, I know there's already people out there who say, That's not true. He's got 3 fans here and yeah, fine, whatever. I'm talking about a solid, substantial one. Because if you have a solid fan base, then a promoter knows if I book MC Cheetah, I'm guaranteed at least 1,000 people at this venue. If we promote it well, maybe we'll get 1.5, 2,000. Can I invest in this? Yes. Can you say that currently? No. And he's had a couple of I wouldn't say major hits, but sort of slumbering kind of, sort of just kind of on the charcoal kind of hits. You know what I mean? He had No Diri, which was a dope song, but I think overall people just didn't relate to it. It was just kind of dope. It had a hot beat and hot rhymes, but it just never caught on. But if at the very least, if he had a regular run of these kind of hits, at least his name grows. But anyway, all of this happens. And what does he go and do? He goes on Instagram and he burns every conceivable bridge. Do you know that he was supposed to perform at Shoko?
Oh, word?
Not as one of the official acts, but as one of the presentations, I think one of the sponsors or something included an MC Cheetah performance.
Oh, so is that where the $50 was coming from?
No, that's he gets paid $50 to MC at a club.
Oh, snap.
So, do you know what I mean? You're like, you're burning bridges. Instead of building them, man, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, recognize that people pay if you're worth it. So make yourself worth it. If you feel that you are and people don't notice, well, make people see it. Don't just get upset and petulant. Anyway, so Zambezi News had a special segment for MC Cheetah.
Oh,
I forgot to mention.
Shoko?
I forgot to mention
my way. I saw Lowe's little video edit. I couldn't stop laughing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was an ad for Shoko. That basically, it starts off with AKA one time, and then the poster, and then the original with then AKA saying, "Yo, Shoko, I'm coming out. Please be ready." Blah 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 blah. So there's a portion in Cheetah's rant where he's like, "You've got AKA Amara Brown, Ja Praiser, Winky D."
So they just cut out that segment and made it an advert. It gets worse.
That was so funny.
So, Zambezi News. This time they sort of did it. Normally they do it as a news item. This time they did it as like a 3-way stand-up segment with little clips in between.
Mm-hmm.
So they're ironically making fun of Shoko Festival. Then they say, in the meantime, we have a disgruntled rapper who has issues with Shoko Festival. Then they play a clip, and it's Young Kranko, aka Outspoken in his persona as this rapper.
Uh-huh.
Man, F Shoko Festival, man. You're not promoting Zim Hip. Oh, man. You're not promoting Zim Hip Hop, man. You know what? Me and my fan, we're going to go. We're boycotting Shoko. And they went. And so you could tell, like, most of the crowd didn't get what was going on. The people who knew were dying. They were dying. And at the end of it, he's like he's in the middle of this rant, and someone comes to him and is like, "Yo, you just got a call from Shoko. You're supposed to be part of the lineup." Forget everything I said. I'm so sorry, man. Shoko, you're the best. Oh my, man, it was so mean. Anyway, listen, MC Cheetah, I think you're a dope rapper, man. But clearly, look, something needs to happen for you to actually. You got, man. How do you know when peeps like Soldier Love and Sekalas and Killer T, you know when they came on? I found this out today. Okay, these guys basically came on 4 years ago. That was when Chill Spot, the studio that's in Mbare, was founded. We today on radio interviewed Fantan and Levels, and they told the story. Man, Soldier Love, Sekalas, these dudes were nothing. They were no one. We were recording in my bedroom, fam. Nothing. Bruh, Soldier Love is probably one of the most recognized artists in the country now. And he's been doing it 4 years. You've been doing it a decade, bruh. He's overtaken you. Try and understand why. What is it that he's doing that I'm not doing? Instead of feeling that people are attacking you. And once you figure that out, we all have to do that in our industries. You know what I mean? When I recognize, for example, when I'm on radio, just as an example, I recognize that crap. You know what I mean? There's a couple of things missing. There's stuff I got to work on. Why are more people listening to that person's show than are listening to mine? Instead of being upset, oh man, y'all don't respect me, bruh. Why don't you give me primetime radio? No, I got to realize that no crap, someone's doing something that I'm not. What is it? Do you know how many hours of like international radio I go through just to try and figure out what do I got to do? What do I have to do to do better? What do I have to do to reach people better? What do I have to? Do you know what I mean? And I'm always just trying to. It's because I realize that I'm not good enough, and that's what it is. The moment you realize, yeah, okay, I'm good, but I'm not good enough, and that's the moment you can tell yourself that. And I suppose it's difficult for a rapper, but listen, I'm good, but I'm not good enough, and I need to fix it. Anyway.
Dude, pride will be your death. And the weird thing is, like, you actually reminded me of something. This is a little secret for Zim rappers. And Takuda's actually displayed this. Where if you have the right work ethic, if you have the right formula, you can literally step into Zim hip hop and dominate it. Because Takuda is now the biggest rapper in Zim, hands down. There's no debate. When his album drops, you guys are going to be running and screaming. And unless a few good poems like blows it out of the water, Takuda is still number one.
That's a bit artsy. I don't think it will. It'll be for the industry. Yeah.
And we are still awaiting Morning Glory.
No, I mean Morning Glory. Yeah.
I mean, guys, really. Hey, anyway, but my point is this: a little top tip for you Zim rappers. Winky D, Soldier Love, Killer T, Talkie Vibes, and believe it or not, Ja Praiser. All these guys are rappers. So if they wake up one morning and you know, guys, let me go back to rapping because I've heard these guys drop bars. Like these guys can freestyle and drop bars. If these guys wake up one morning and they're like, you know what, I've dominated dancehall, I've dominated what does Ja Praiser do? Afro pop?
Ja Praiser is his own genre.
But anyway, like if they wake up one morning and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna try my hand at hip hop, all you guys are out of jobs. Because these individuals are perfecting their craft every waking moment. If you guys were at Shoko, I wasn't even there, but I can tell Dan, look, I'm closing my eyes, but I'm taking a wild stab in the dark. Winky D's performance was incredible. I don't know, was it? Was it maybe?
Standard.
You see? Because I can bank on Winky D. Winky D is that reliable.
Funny story. Winky D's team kicked me off stage.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean, during the performance or what?
No, because I had just announced him, right? So I was on the stage and I was packing up my laptop because they were using my laptop to DJ. And I guess I just sort of got caught up in the performance. I was just kind of standing there with my jaw slack and just looking at Winky D jumping around. And his team came and like, listen, you're not part of our stage right now. You got to get off. I was like, sorry, yeah, cool, I'm getting off. And it's a small thing that sort of made me realize that no, he approaches this seriously. He's got a team that manages the stage, and they realize that this is not part of our performance. Dan has to get off stage. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna be like, no, I refused. Man, I don't want to mess up your performance. I'll get off your stage. But I'm not saying rappers should kick people off stage, but you should approach your craft with that same level of professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
If you guys want tips on how to make yourself a professional, Google Zim Hip Hop is Dead. I've got 2 posts that break down this issue and explain why it's dead and what you guys need to do to get it working again. Up the ante.
Sometimes I wish I could rap.
Fam.
Dude.
I should get back in the stew. Like, niggas don't understand. Like, I was back in the stew back in the day, you know what I mean? Dropping these hot fire boys.
I might just do the next best thing and probably just find some kid somewhere. Actually, MC Chocho hit me up. You remember him?
MC Chocho?
He's this little kid from Chitungwiza.
Oh, that is Mfana.
Little kid, a rapper, and he bosses a crowd.
Oh, Mfana, it's got that video. I remember him, like, when on the roof and whatnot. Yes.
I don't know what he's like 13 or something.
Yes,
anyway,
I know him, yeah.
I'm going to find some little kid and just... I'm not saying I got all the answers, Sway.
We need the big, but they are big.
Just some big.
People big guys. You can buy 20,000.
Are you telling me you and I can fail to get investors? We get a rapper, a little kid, someone who's up and coming, who's definitely got ability, charisma, whatever. Start training him.
But what we
Media
need
training.
What we need is a kid we can brainwash, because the moment these kids get egos,
Yeah,
the
that's
moment
the
these kids get caught up in the hype, I mean, look at the Nasty C situation. They are so angry.
Look, we're not even going to discuss that. No, that's a whole podcast episode.
He had such an opportunity to change the game, and you know the weird thing is, like, not even the weird thing, but Nasty C is our, and when I say our, I mean hip hop heads. He's our Neo. He's our chosen one. Do you know?
I was gonna be like, I was about to say sexy love. I don't know what Neo do you mean? Sorry.
He is. Do you know how rare it is for a lyrical rapper to have this much commercial appeal? Where it's insane. Like, even at Major League, the way the kids respond to him, he literally is their leader. He is he's a god amongst men / teenagers. He is that. He's like the hip hop Bieber, and he has in a very powerful position to change the game and move shit forward in a very big way. And I feel he dropped the ball.
I feel like it's a misstep and not necessarily as earth shaking as you're making it.
I'm not saying it. No. Let me be clear. Nasty C is still incredibly talented. Bad Hair is still an amazing album. I feel that what he could have done, though, was produced a project that was not only going to be critically acclaimed, it was going to be a commercial success. Now, if it's been streamed 250,000 times in 2 days, and it's been number one on Audio Mac and higher than Fabulous, The Game, Young Thug, and Hustle Gang.
Future.
And Future. You know what I mean? Let me put it this way, right? The majority of Nasty C's fans are young children. So they may or may not have bought the album. But they're already in a culture that does not value art. They do not value purchasing art because everything is free now. You can either stream it, you can either download it for free, get it on YouTube, data file host, what have you. Now, if the artist endorses the notion of his fans getting his work for free, what message are you sending?
Well, I feel like, you know what, he can learn from this experience, and maybe on his next album he can get his juice back.
Hell nah. Right, anyway, yeah, man. There's so much to discuss, you know. But Ace, we've been mumbling for almost 90 minutes now.
Yeah. I gotta go watch these Bill Clinton and Hillary debates.
I've got to go back to work. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys know where to get hold of us. Follow us on Twitter at Danny That Guy, at Phil Chart, 2broketwimbos.com with the number 2. Facebook, 2broketwimbos. Twitter, at 2broketwimbos. Viber, 2broketwimbos. YouTube, 2broketwimbos. Guys, please don't forget, if you are listening on any podcast app, especially iTunes, rate and review. Please, we really appreciate that stuff. For everyone who's been leaving comments on Facebook, leaving comments on our YouTube page, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it. And I think that's pretty much it, eh? More content coming soon. We've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. I don't know, Dan, what else do you have to say?
No, that's pretty much it. Hey, we're also, look, don't get us wrong with our snarky tongue-in-cheek kind of discussions. We're very open to like suggestions or whatever. You're welcome to drop in a suggestion of how you think or who you think we should have on the show, or certain things that you want us to discuss. That's totally cool. Hit us up on the social medias at 2broketwimbos, etc. Yeah, and man, if you think we're talking crap, you can tell us that too, so that we can debate each other and block each other on social media.
Yes, that's the best. Because what I like to do is, right, I'll get into a debate with someone I clearly know is either trolling or just an idiot, and then I'll drop a major insult, and then before they have a chance to respond, block. and it's so frustrating. And then it goes like, shit! Damn you, Phil!
Anyway, no, seriously, yeah, you can tell us we're talking crap. That's totally cool. Yeah, and if you want to donate money, You're welcome to do that as well.
Yes, actually, I'm actually started that. So PayPal. I'm being dead serious right now, guys. As you know, we do not charge you guys for this content. We do take a lot of time out of our day to present this podcast to you because we just want to create a platform where we can discuss the issues for the youthies, the real youthies.
The youthies are at the heart of our hearts.
Yes. So if you guys would like to donate to us, you can send a PayPal donation to donate at twobroketwimbos.com. That is donate at twobroketwimbos.com. Send a PayPal donation, whatever value you deem necessary, and we will use that money to buy food.
Well, I mean, it costs money to have a website running, and
yes, oh yeah, yes, we actually do pay for the website, we pay for the hosting, we pay for the equipment, we pay for the internet. Guys, Two Broke Twimbos is basically a money wasting endeavor. So if you guys would just assist us to at least break even, that'd be great.
After that shameless money begging, I think we can sign out, and another episode is in the bag.
Indeed. We're out.
We broke.